you are just joining us, this is the Scripture Show. And today, by the special grace of God, I'm here with Reverend Maxwell Bomensa, the ever amazing man of God, the man of prayer. And today we are talking about a very interesting topic. And man of God, you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us on the Scripture Show once again.
Okay.
Today we are dealing with covenants, and so I just want us to go right into it. Now we want to begin. We want to start from the very beginning because you have to know like the origin, the genesis, and all that stuff. So what we say covenant, what is a covenant? Where did it originate from? And please, can you just take us through?
Okay, I want to first of all salute my father, Bishop John Mensa Morgan, who doubles as my biological father and spiritual father. I also bring you salutation from Vibrant Prayer Ministry. We say it is working. Our prayer is getting results. And also, I want to say to our viewers, God bless you for staying glued with us. Talking about covenants, it is agreements. Covenant in itself is agreement. But when we are going to look from the biblical perspective, when we talk about covenant, we are talking about blood covenant. If I want to categorically state, we are talking about blood covenant. So in the Hebrew or in the Greek, when they talk about covenant among the Jews, it means to cut. To cut. And when we are talking about blood covenant, or each time you hear say covenant, we are talking about blood covenant, according to the Bible. Yes. So when we talk about blood covenant, it is the highest and sacred form of agreement. The highest and sacred form of agreement. And this blood covenant is even stronger than family ties. And it substitutes the people who are entering into the covenant. So their purpose and the reason for entering into the covenant becomes more paramount or becomes more important than the two of them entering into the agreement or this covenant. And it happens that way because, as I said, it is a matter of the blood. So when we talk about blood covenant, it is an unbreakable agreement. It is what? An unbreakable agreement which results in an absolute union of the two people entering into that agreement. An absolute what? Union. That means that the two becomes one. So now, if it is Mr. A and Mr. B who entered into the agreement, per that covenant, Mr. C is formed. Now A and B are done away with, and C becomes one. So the two of them becomes an absolute union, and even in some events, names are what? Adopted. That is why we could see that even when Jacob encountered the angel, he requested for his covenantal name between Abraham and God, that the covenant that went through. That is why the name Israel was mentioned instead of Jacob, because in the records of God, by the covenant he entered into with Abraham, there was no name like Jacob that came up. The name that came up was Israel. So when covenants are entered into and the union becomes absolute, whatever belongs to you belongs to me. Whatever I possess becomes your possession. My family is your family. My business is your business. Everything that is mine becomes mine. So now with the blood covenant, how it is entered into, or what happens is that there is the cutting of wrist or cutting of thumb, or there is blood that is shed. And with this blood that is shed, what happens is that there is a mingling of blood. So when I and you, let's use ourselves as an example, we are entering into this covenant. What happens is that if we don't cut our thumbs, then we cut our wrists. And the blood is mingled together. When the blood is mingled together, there is any wine or drink that is there, and the mingled blood drops into the wine. When it drops into the wine, it is stirred. You take, I take. And after that agreement is entered into, now this union becomes absolute.
So that is an example of a covenant.
Yes, that is how covenants are entered into.
Okay.
Or that is how covenants are entered into.